It began without warning, completely unnoticed. I never suspected anything. My wife Emma and her twin Ella had always shared a unique connection, one I found charming, even if it sometimes felt a little unusual. So when Ella came over for the weekend, I didn't give it a second thought. She'd visited before and I trusted both of them. What I didn't realize was that Ella had decided, partly out of curiosity and partly mischief, to step into Emma's shoes for an entire week, and I never noticed. It all started on a typical Monday. Emma had seemed slightly off the night before, mentioning she had to handle work tasks and would skip dinner to go to bed early. I didn't think much of it. We had been married for 5 years. We had our routines and I trusted our bond. When Ella showed up the next morning with her suitcase and cheerful energy, it felt like just another ordinary visit. She often came by when Emma was caught up with work. Normally outgoing and lively, Ella was a stark contrast to Emma's calm, reserved nature. But that morning, as she prepared breakfast, something felt subtly different. Her gestures were unfamiliar, her laughter a little too exuberant, her glances at me more pointed than usual. She touched my arm more than Emma ever did. I dismissed it as trivial. It wasn't until that night, when she slid into bed beside me, that unease began to creep in. Our nightly kiss felt slightly different. Softer, teasing, almost flirtatious in a way I hadn't noticed with Emma in months. I shrugged it off, assuming she was just in a light-hearted mood. The next morning, the bed felt familiar and her perfume lingered, but something was missing. The small, familiar cues that made her unmistakably Emma. As the week went on, Ella's attention intensified. She prepared breakfast daily, sent playful messages throughout the day, and interacted with me in ways I hadn't felt in ages. She was more affectionate, more engaged, more present. I told myself Emma must be exhausted from work, and Ella was just filling in. I couldn't deny it, it felt good. I realized I had missed this closeness, this warmth that had slipped quietly from my life. She listened, smiled, joked, and seemed more connected to me than I had felt in months. Yet, despite the comfort, a growing unease gnawed at me. Her attention felt familiar but off, like a distorted reflection of Emma. One evening, as we sat together after dinner, her hand brushed mine. For an instant, I caught a glimpse in her eyes, a fleeting spark that wasn't Emma's. I pulled away, pretending nothing had happened, but doubt had settled firmly in my mind. Later that night, when I went to the bathroom, the truth hit me. The reflection staring back didn't match the woman I had kissed goodnight. Her lipstick was smudged, her hair less tidy, and the meticulous details Emma always maintained were absent. It wasn't just appearances. The subtle mannerisms, the essence, the very presence, all were slightly off. Ella had been impersonating my wife and I hadn't noticed. A wave of guilt and disbelief washed over me. How could I have missed all the signs? When I confronted her, Ella didn't deny it. She confessed with a sheepish grin, a mix of guilt and playful mischief. She said she had wanted to see if I noticed, feeling I might need a little extra attention while Emma was busy. Her words stung, not because of her deception, but because she had so effortlessly stepped into my wife's place, and I had allowed it. That evening, when Emma returned home, the awkward tension was undeniable. She saw everything the moment laid bare. Her reaction wasn't anger or shouting. Instead, she quietly said, "I knew something was different." And just like that, the invisible distance between us, amplified by someone else's presence, was finally acknowledged. Now I am left to rebuild, unsure if Emma and I will ever be exactly as we were before. But one thing is certain, I will never take her for granted again. I will treasure each glance, each laugh, each touch, because I have learned how fragile and precious our shared moments truly are.